Glad to know you're still with us. And yes, like I told you before we went on that timeout, we'll move on to the, comparative analysis of some companies. Yes, call them agricultural companies. We'll start with turnover. We're looking at 2021 and 2022. So we have livestock feeds, we have NASCON, Presco, and Okomu oil palm. Starting with livestock feeds now, 2022, 11.182 billion naira, and in 2021, 10.720 billion naira. The percentage change there being 4.31. For NASCON, 40.605 billion naira in 2022, and in 2021, 24.947 billion naira. Percentage change there 62.76. For Presco, 59.207 billion naira in 2022, and in 2021, 34.236 billion naira. Percentage change there 72.94. For Okomu oil palm, 50.179 billion naira in 2022, and in 2021, 31.045 billion naira. The percentage change there, 61.63. Well, for turnover, Vincent, I'd like you to talk to us about this.
Yes, from the reports, the figures you just talked about, can see that in terms of top line, a lot of them they all did more than last year, except for and the double figures, except for livestock feeds. And you are like aware of the challenges in terms of that business, in terms of that industry. They have seen an increased cost, and increased cost for their products. I think definitely has increased also led to reduction in terms of patronage from the market. Unlike the likes of Presco and Okomu, this year we have seen a lot of a positive performance for them because of what happened in Ukraine and Russia, and what also happened in Indonesia. We have seen a lot of people turning to local production. So that has made people to patronize their product. And also we saw a lot of activities for Presco in terms of their recent purchase from their parent company, their operations in River State. I think that's good for the market. Last year, towards the end of 2021, we saw Presco trading around 80 something, and by January, once the war in Ukraine started, we saw a steep increase in the price, and that also affected Okomu because of shortage of oil in terms of palm oil in the world due to the war in Ukraine, and also the cut in production in Indonesia. I think that's affected their profitability, and that's good. But when we start seeing the other figure, you now see where what affected the other figure.
All right, I think that's a good place to hold it there. Now let's move on to profit after tax. Very quickly for profit after tax, we'll start with livestock feeds, minus 209.736 million naira in 2022. And in 2021, 420.556 million naira. The percentage change there is minus 149.87. For NASCON, 2.882 billion naira in 2022, and in 2021, 2.415 billion naira. The percentage change there, 19.31. For Presco, 15.877 billion naira in 2022, and in 2021, 13.775 billion naira. Percentage change there, 15.26. For Okomu oil, that's 18.050 billion naira in 2022, and in 2021, 11.603 billion naira. The percentage change there, 55.56. Ambrose, talk to us about this.
Actually, every investor interested in the bottom line of the company. After you think of your cost of sale, paying government tax, what is left is what we are interested to see all the payoffs as an investor. But if you look at this figure, yes, 3 of them are still in the 2-digit figure, so that they've done well. But like Mr. Vincent said, this sector, especially the oil palm related business, they have demand that even you can't meet their demand. Tell you that for even though that is taking long, I think this way should also beat your time, because if there's demand for a product and you're able to meet, that means they're going to expand. And that is why when recently Presco acquired Fiat Limited in Port Harcourt, is also to increase their market share, which you saw on their top line, as you have read before now. But I believe that going forward, because Presco has really expanded, we expect it to reflect on the bottom line. But seeing this figure, that for me, it's also a clue where they're going. But if you look at the last forecast they gave, that full year, they expect to have 27 billion naira as profit. That if that's achieved this year as a goal, that means 27 naira earning per share. And if you come out to 27 naira per share, paying you 15 naira is very easy for them. And if you look at the figure that have come before now, well, we saw that Okomo before now have paid almost 9 naira out in terms of trade dividend. They paid 22 naira, they paid 7 naira. Yeah, but 7 naira. Then Presco just pay only 2 naira for interim. For a design investor, you know that Okumu cannot pay another 10 naira from the end. As you speak now, Okumu is no more than 18 naira so as a third quarter. If no, Presco is having almost around 15 naira as a third quarter, the police are going to pay high because they only pay 2 naira and expect to be like add another 10 naira to make 12 naira. For me, for an investor, yes, the price of Okumu is higher than the Presco now, and Presco is cheap around 137 naira, and Okumu is about 168, and Okumu will pay already 9 naira. I think for investors that are really kind of intelligent and thinking that you are there to make money, they paid up because I said investment is not about the past, it's about the future. If you are thinking of the future, who is going to pay you more? The one that paid the 9 naira, you are not part of it. That means if you are putting 9 naira, looking at what they're going to pay ahead as well. If investment is again, for me, I think Presco look good. The two companies are well run because I can sit on their numbers, but I think for are there to make money, not just like he said, some people invest emotionally. But I tell you what, I'm not interested in the company's name, I'm not interested in the MD, what I'm interested in, because the figure will tell you who is there, whether if who is doing, whether means they are performing. But trying to marry the stock, I think they are not women. Just invest and go.
Very quickly, let's have your reaction.
Talking about the profit after tax.
That's everything. I like you to react to.
Okay,
everything.
Fine. Yes, we've seen the top line, and of course, it's only livestock that is there. We know what livestock is.
Yes.
And the other ones, yes. Well, I don't want to follow Ambrose. I can fall in love with some stocks. Yeah, particularly, as a stockbroker, as a trader, when what you buy and sell on a daily basis, and these companies come and you visit. The last CIS conference in Benin, we were able to visit some of these companies, Presco, and it was like homecoming. We were able to see all the things they were doing, and you say, yes, this is the company you are trading, you are buying and selling for your clients and even for your portfolio. So it gives you that form of not really attachment, but at least you're able to appreciate because they took us through all their processing, everything, you're able to see it. And of course, you know that once I am in that team, of course, I will tackle them on sustainability. I will tackle them in terms of the environment. Because it's not just telling me this is the profit you have made. At what cost to the environment, to your local environment? Were they supporting the locals there? Because Okomo Presco, it's in the Edo State too.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Vast hectares of land. So these are people's villages, and their activities. How is it impacting on my grandmother that is from that village? How is it impacting the locals? Because agriculture has to be sustainable. Because what you take from Mother Earth, you need to replace back. Are they using so much fertilizers in terms of chemicals? Are you destroying the environment? But again, from what we saw, Okomo, Presco, they were up to standard. But it is even NASCO that don't even surprise me. NASCO, I think, used to be it's another Dangote industry. Yes. Of course, it was a government company before. After privatization, Dangote bought it, and of course, they changed their name. It's no longer NASCON, something NASCON and Allied. Yeah. To reflect the new realities of what they are doing. Salts, being a biochemist, salts, you just take salt and it's not iodized, it's a problem. So we saw that they were socially responsible, that they fortify the salt they are producing with iodine. That will prevent so many medical conditions, where they don't have enough seafood. That's goiter. I know what is goiter. So for that told me, or that tells me that NASCON is a responsible company. And being with the Dangote group, of course, they are following the 7 pillars of their sustainability. So you can, and of course, all the Dangote companies, you see how they are doing very well. So I expect a lot from Okomo, and so I'm not surprised with these numbers I'm seeing, both the top line and this profit after tax.
All right, so moving now to earnings per share. Livestock minus 7 kobo. NASCON 1 naira 9 kobo. Presco 15 naira 88 kobo, and then Okomu Oil 18 naira 92 kobo. Very quickly, Vincent, talk to us about this.
Yes, from the figures you can see the Okomu is doing better than Presco. That's a major area of comparison because they are both in the same industry. Yeah. And I think that's not far-fetched why we have the price of Okomu trading higher than Presco. Before now, Presco was said...
Ambo spoke as a day trader. Go ahead, please.
Why with you?
You see trading because before now people looked at, I think the relationship between Okomu and Presco can be compared to the relationship between GT and Zenith. For a while there was that mindset that GT was more efficient and so we tend to trade higher than Zenith, but we have seen a reverse in position, and also that's also what we have seen in the position between Presco and Okomu. And that's shown in the figure. You can see despite a higher turnover when you compare both companies, but in terms of earnings per share, Okomu is doing better than Presco. That tells you more investors will want to prefer Okomu to Presco. But I also buy into Ambro's analysis when he talked about the payment of dividend, because the one thing you have to look at trends and you have to look at seasons in a company. It's not just to is sentimentally attached to the company. You have to look at what is happening. Okomu have paid a higher dividend than Presco. So interim dividend, that tells you that some persons will be looking at that interim dividend, what will be paid at final dividend. But for both companies, I think they are doing well, especially when we talk about the fact that we have not been able to meet the demand. The supply has not been able to meet the demand. So it means that they continue to do well, especially when we continue to have challenges with Forex. People cannot easily import this product, meet the local demand, so they'll continue to do well. Also, NASCOM has been relatively stable since the time that Dangote took over. And one good thing about NASCOM, they have been able to diversify into other areas. Beyond just focusing on salt, they have been going into seasoning and other things. I think it has also helped in their stability and helped their performance, which is good for the business ability to diversify, and means that they are going to be able to sustain their business for a long time, which is good for both companies. And like I mentioned, as I mentioned before, the challenges for livestock, we have seen there have been a lot of challenge when you talk about the cost of production. We have seen increase. Corn is a major product that they use in producing their goods, a major part of their goods, and we have seen increase in the price of corn and other things that forms part of their production. I think definitely it will affect their price. Also talking about the increase in price of diesel, I think that will also affect their production. Despite their average break-even, they have a little good price in the top line, but the bottom line is nothing to write about because of other factors that have affected them.
All right, thank you. Very quickly, we'll look at the profit margin. So for profit margin, livestock feeds minus 1.88 profit margin. NASCON 7.10, that's profit margin. Presco 26.82. And then we have Okomu Oil Palm 35.97. Charles, kindly do us the honor.
Well, the figures, they say figures don't tell lies. Figures are there. Yes. Well, it shows that of course, the three companies, let's just leave livestock half of it.
Okay.
They're coming back.
Of course, they'll come back. Well managed,
yeah.
You can see, of course, the profit margin there. That shows that the management is efficient in terms of how, because, agricultural production is not something you just buy and sell. They do a lot of work. So, a lot of raw materials, inputs here and there to get to their finished product. So, yes, I must give kudos to the management of both companies. Of course, even NASCOM too, for how efficient they've been able to manage these companies, and we are seeing that profit margin. However, again, I will still go back to my
in about 30 seconds. We're running out of time.
Yes, kudos to the management of these companies.
Okay.
Let me leave it at that.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Ambrose, for joining us on the show today.
Thanks for having me, but I will finally, draw the curtain.
30 seconds.
Yeah. Investors should combine their fundamental and management when investing. Now we're looking at dividend, you must look the word for fundamentals to see whether the numbers support payout. I tell you that this season is for what? Any season or corporate action.
All right.
That means you must look at these figures before you jump into any position.
All right, thank you. Vincent, thank you.
Invest smartly for the new year.
Yes, so.
Vincent, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. Pleasure.
Right. Well, many thanks to you for joining. My name is Perpetua Fasome Peter. Do enjoy the rest of the day. Bye for now and happy weekend.